And hopefully he has some introspection. And like, for the love of BYU people, stop doing this. Like, what is it going to take?
Can't keep quiet when you start a riot.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to WardRadio. I'm your host, Cardinellis. Today I'm joined in the studio, actually via Zoom, by none other than Luke Hansen, editor-in-chief of WardRadio News, who is going to be discussing with me. I can't believe what I'm reading here, but we're reacting to the Cougar Chronicle article about a BYU professor, ironically named Cardin, who posted some nasty grams to any students that might have voted for Trump in the recent election. And if I understand the soundbite correctly, in an angry tirade, Luke tore up the Proclamation of the Family. What's going on? Sift through the mist for us. Just tell me what's happening from beginning to end. Hit me.
So right after the election, next morning, this professor, who's actually a mathematics professor, you'd expect us from sociology or something like that.
Okay.
No, this is mathematics.
Okay.
So he posts on his office door, not privately, on his office door,
Okay.
the following. And I don't know if you have the picture up.
Yeah, that's right up here.
I can just... So it says, if you support Donald Trump in the recent election, then this scripture is for you. And then it quotes Mosiah 29, 26, and 27.
Okay.
Verse 27 reads, and if the time comes that the voice of the people doth choose iniquity, then is the time that the judgments of God will come upon you. Yea, then is the time he will visit you with great destruction, even as he has hitherto visited this land.
So the left has officially become the Christian right. Just finger
That's the
wagging
weird
and
thing.
coping
Yeah.
and just quoting scripture. Wow. Like, this is like the first time Dan McClellan positively posted a scripture from the church is after like,
Yeah,
well,
he
this is
actually
interesting.
posted that same scripture on his Twitter. I don't know if this guy got that idea from him or not.
Dan McClellan spread it
And I
amongst the
commented
BYU
and
professors.
said, are you negotiating that text, Dan? It seems like some negotiations going on here.
You're brutal, man. You're brutal.
But point being,
I still
so
want to
this
get Dan on the
professor-
show. Dan, you're welcome to come on the show. We got to talk Apocrypha, so keep going. Tell me.
He'll just shoot everything down. But
We're giving him a
okay,
chance.
so-
We're giving him a chance. Keep going.
But then the professor ends this letter to all the students that walk by his office by saying, by almost all objective standards, Donald Trump is an evil man. Now that you've made your choice, you should expect this prophecy to be fulfilled.
Huh. Wow.
So the mathematics department apparently is the one in charge of interpreting scripture for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
And so this professor is declaring that he's telling his students that great destruction is coming upon the nation and it's your fault. You freshman math 101 student.
Yeah. I was about to say,
And,
can you imagine? We're going to skip to this video because I see the other things that you put in the thread. And if him tearing up the Proclamation of the Family and his angry outrage was a resultant action of this, I think the guy has some serious reconsiderations to make. But I do think, man, how much of too much do we pay these professors if they can go on angry tirades like this that are an absolute evidence of luxury beliefs? Okay. Like, do we really want the professor who gets an amazing paycheck from BYU in comparison to other universities that also offers a pension that is stable and not tied to whatever political whims are in that state? If you're part of like the UC state sponsored school system that is always arguing over on whether or not they fulfill their pension commitments to the firemen and the police and the educators and everything, like, how much of an ivory tower do you have to live in if you're talking to students who are concerned about, wow, I only have $400 a month for groceries and milk and cereal has just doubled, if not tripled, in the past year or two since I became a freshman. And my scholarship, it's only like $1,200 a year, and textbooks have tripled. My rent has, gone up 150%. Yeah, like I thought I was already eating ramen, but apparently now I'm just eating the ramen packets. Like, how much of an ivory tower do you have to live in if you're going to literally chastise the people paying your salary for voting to, I don't know, survive economically. And half these students are immigrants at BYU anyway. Like, I don't know, this just smacks of, it just smacks of so much bad at once. But the first thing it smacks of to me is elitism that just really bothers me, because like BYU is supposed to be the anti-elitist place, you know? But anyway, keep going. Tell me what happened. And what am I looking at here that he's tearing off of his wall?
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. It boggles my mind how somebody gets in this headspace to do this. Like, okay, you say something to your wife after the election, or you text something crazy to somebody. Fine. You go through the effort to, somebody typed this up, hit the print button, grabbed it, got the tape, you put it all together, made sure it was aligned properly on the door, put it on there, and then said, yeah, I felt good about that. And went in their office and kept it there. Like, this wasn't a split second angry outburst.
Yes, and I think it's very important that before we go after a fellow brother who's presumably a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it's an educator at BYU, we don't want to go after anybody for a passion crime. Look, if you hate Donald Trump because of his personality, like, fine, great. I had a bishop I could not stand. Whether or not he was worthy enough to serve or whatever, that's somebody else's value judgment, all right? But personality-wise, I just couldn't stand the guy. And there's some people that I'm sure can't stand me personality-wise. And if they don't like being in the same room with me, or they don't like the fact that I got called to be elders quorum president or something like that, like, fine, you're allowed to dislike people for personality and for this and that. But then to condemn the students, like, and not just condemn them once, it looks like there's been other actions where people like didn't try to retaliate, but they tried to start a conversation with them via email or something. But like, apparently there's other emails and other posts involved. Yeah. Tell me what's up.
Yeah, so you put this thing up, you know, you're passionate, you didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, you're still violating BYU policy when you do this. Like, you're supposed to be politically neutral as a BYU professor. But
whatever.
Okay, fine, you do it. Cougar Chronicle, being a good journalistic institution as they are, sends him an email to get comment. And I'm going to do his email first, and then we can watch the video, just so we get it in chronological order.
And is the email in the Discord?
The email is the article link that I sent, the Cougar Chronicle article.
Awesome. Got it. Here we go.
Yep. So if we scroll down to kind of the block quoted text.
Got you.
This is the professor's email. So he's going to double down on everything, guys. Just giving you fair warning. So responding to the questions the Cougar Chronicle asks, he says, first of all, there's no question Trump is a wicked man. The list of his crimes is very long. Okay. Number two, Cougar Chronicle asked him a question about, well, you're not supposed to endorse candidates as, you know, being a member of BYU. And he said, the word of endorsement does not apply. I didn't say to vote for Trump or not to vote for Trump. My comment about supporting a candidate was neutral in the sense that I did not endorse any candidate. I made a comment of what happened in the scriptures when the majority of the people chose a wicked leader. Stop right there. Not chose a wicked leader. The verse says when they choose iniquity, not when they choose a bad person to lead them. Okay?
Yeah, and also, do these people not realize, like, I mean, for heaven's sakes, choose between what? The guy that cheated on his wife but has at least got a happy family with children that adore and love him, or like the woman that was literally in a throuple with Montel. Like, she was on the red carpet in my hometown holding hands with like Montel and other celebrities in like open threesomes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like,
and she got her start in politics by getting favors from a guy she was sleeping with, who was also married at the time.
And so it's like just
cry
compared
me
to
a
who?
river.
JFK literally like had fiddle and faddle in the White House and was sleeping with interns. Is that not moral enough for you? Like, yeah, George H.W. Bush probably shot JFK. Barack Obama dropped bombs as a war criminal for 22 years. For 8 years, every 22 minutes on average. We were drone striking somebody in the Middle East. Some of them were just extrajudicial killings of American citizens without any habeas corpus, without any trial. It was just like, oh, well, Barack says you gotta go, so go doink. You know, like what's your morality?
Granted, you get some leeway as a president, but to bring it to what he's saying here in voting for iniquity, Kamala Harris was the only person who had a morally completely wrong, evil policy proposal in her platform, and that was abortion.
Okay.
You cannot point. You say, oh, he was going to deport the families or anything. No, the church manual does not say deportation is a grave evil and you're going to be excommunicated for deporting somebody. It only says it about abortion.
Yeah,
so
but we all think it's bad. Like, we all write the letters for the people in our ward to try and get them to stay. I've sponsored multiple families, whether it's from Mexico or the Philippines, to write their little letters to the immigration department. We're pretty, help them stay in America, right?
Yeah, but it's not evil. It's not an iniquitous saying we should deport the illegals doesn't make you King Noah.
Okay, sure.
It's actually,
I think it makes you a jerk, but anyway, let's keep going.
We should definitely deport the illegals. That's if you're not supposed to be here, you are not supposed to be here.
Well, I think
pretty logical thinking in my mind.
We got to tighten down on, but I mean, the DACA kids, we're not going to be
amnesty fails because the amnesty comes first, and then the promised tightened border regulations come after, and they never.
This is why I like having you on. This is why I like having you on.
I work in immigration. My job is immigration.
I get it. I get it, bro.
The worst thing Reagan did was give amnesty. That's what flipped California blue for you in the 80s.
I'm not arguing with you, but it's also what kicked out woke in 2024 was the rise of the American Latina. Now, I will say this. Yes. I like having you around as a more conservative person that's much more hardliner, because then you're the bad cop and I can play good cop. Because I could be like, look, do you want to come on the show and agree with me, or do I got a sick Luke on you? He's crazy. I can't control him. I mean, just you help me help you. You know what I'm saying? I literally sound like a mafioso saying, don't make me get cool-headed Luke on you. So anyway, it's like Bugsy Malone in the 20s.
It's a nice idea you got there. It'd be a shame if Luke had to dismantle it.
Yeah. That's funny. So keep going.
Coming back to the professor's email. So he says, I made a comment about what happened in the scriptures when the majority of people choose a wicked leader. Students should not confuse their political affiliation with the gospel. I feel like, I don't know. He should be saying this to himself.
Yeah, I was about to say, what else were you doing? Here. What else were you doing when you were condemning the voters of Donald Trump? Okay, keep going.
And if they do, they should not be taking classes where the ideas are being discussed. Being quote unquote neutral is not the same as being ignorant and naive. Number 3, the ideas from the last paragraph come straight out of the Book of Mormon. If it offends you, then you should also be offended by the Book of Mormon. If it offends you, you probably don't believe in the Book of Mormon.
Wow. So
my people who disagree with me politically, my freshman students at BYU, probably don't even have a testimony of the gospel. That's what the problem is.
This is straight out of this is anti-Mormon rule number 4, that they hold your humanity hostage if you disagree with them politically. And it's like, I'm sorry, just like Trent Horn says, believers shouldn't argue like atheists. Liberal members should not argue like anti-Mormons, or else this is why people start assuming that if you're a liberal member of the church, that you're either anti-Mormon, anti-Mormon light, or about to become anti-Mormon. And it should not be that way. Okay, we need a robust liberal and healthily liberal wing of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But when you start doing this and using anti-Mormon tactics, then I can see why people start thinking, well, is this that Julie Hanks effect they talk about? Is this that progmo effect they talk about? So on and so forth. So anyway, he writes this scathing nastygram. Then what happens? Well,
at about that time, I don't know if Cougar Chronicles sent it to them or if they picked it up by another means, but Libs of TikTok reposts the story.
Libs of TikTok reposted it.
TikTok.
Oh, no. Oh, is this professor in hiding?
I'm sure, like with Eric Bybee and a couple of people before him, his information's off of the public websites now.
Oh, I hope so.
Instead of issuing any sort of apology or saying we're working with a professor, BYU's tactic seems to just be to hide from the conservatives.
Oh, okay.
And if they make changes, they do it behind closed doors and don't tell anybody they made the changes, so they don't offend the liberals.
Okay.
So nobody knows that the conservatives affect anything.
Niceness
now, of
culture
course,
on steroids.
If a volleyball player said, somebody called me the N-word, nobody can corroborate it. Then BYU will be tripping over themselves, apologizing profusely in public, in private. Can I give you free merch? All this stuff. if it's from the conservatives and some guy's calling all of his freshmen, geometry class, ignorant, stupid, don't have a testimony of the Book of Mormon, it's Tuesday. We'll just take his contact info off the site, brutal. Let it blow over.
Okay, so show me what's next. Next.
So Libs of TikTok posts it. The Libs of TikTok one is pretty funny because half of the comments are like, Mosiah is not in the Bible. This is not revealed scripture. The Mormons aren't Christians.
Oh, this is so funny. So lead me into this other picture. What's he doing tearing this thing off the wall?
So then in the video, of course there's a backlash that happens.
Okay.
And obviously some people go overboard, and I'm not going to say otherwise, and people need to... Harassing this dude isn't going to help anything.
Okay, that's fair.
Having firm pushback, saying this is not okay, contacting BYU administrators, spreading the story around so there's awareness of what's happening, I'm all cool with all of that. But when it gets to like constantly bugging him or calling him some of the things that people have called him online that I'm not going to repeat, then that's like, okay, guys, you're being an idiot. This isn't helping.
Okay, yes, this is not to defend harassment, but at the same time, it's like, how Chuck Schumer said, dude, don't piss off the intelligence community because they have 15 ways till Sunday, 7 ways till Sunday to absolutely screw you. And that's why, a lot of people reference that quote when January 6th happened and so on and so forth. So I would like to think that a seasoned professor, seasoned enough to get the version of tenure that BYU has, all right, wouldn't you know you're messing with college students? Like the same people that put dresses on the Brigham Young statue, the same people that pour like red paint all over the Cougar before the BYU versus University of Utah game, the same people that drink 7 Red Bulls and then try and play capture the flag and run away from the cops on the center of campus. Like if I was a professor at BYU, the last people I would want to actually piss off and directly indict in written print on social media is the students themselves. Because now you literally have indicted 50%, maybe 60% of an army of underslept, over-caffeinated 19 to 25-year-olds. Like, are you not asking for a prank to be, performed on you? Like, I'm surprised this guy doesn't have his underwear frozen in the staff lounge at this point, So what happens? Could you try pull up the video now?
So this is the video that you've been pulling up.
Okay, so let's see
somebody
what it
went.
says.
It appears as if the backstory to this is somebody went and taped a family proclamation. So either the guy had taken his original paper down, or somebody else had torn it off, and then some kid goes up and is taping a family proclamation, just the text, not like a family, a proclamation to the world, just like paragraphs of it, is taping up to the door, and it appears as if this professor catches him doing it, and then the kid starts recording. And this is that video. Okay, so he puts that up on the door, the print, you can see it right there on the right. And then this is the interaction.
Evil is Kamala much better, sir? She wants to kill babies.
No, she doesn't want to kill babies.
She's pro-abortion.
Ooh, he got real quiet.
Wait to see what happens once... Here, I'm gonna.
Did you just tear the family proclamation?
In front of you, I'm tearing this.
Sir,
because I think
that's modern revelation. I have that all on video.
Well,
that's modern revelation, sir, from a prophet.
I'm not a prophet.
I'm not a prophet, but Gordon B. Hinckley was a prophet, and his Quorum of the 12 were prophets. Were they not?
What I know is that you're a coward.
I'm a coward. You're the one that just tore modern revelation, sir.
You just came and put something on my door without knocking first.
Well, I hope you have a nice day.
That was such a Utah interaction. I could tell the Utah accent right there. And then they both call each other cowards and then wish each other a nice day. That was like watching a Canadian argue with another Canadian. Like it got really, really bad there. But wow. So he just tears it up.
Yeah.
Right?
And you watch the video and it's like, is this guy
Is he high?
there?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
is there like, that doesn't seem even like elderly disassociation. That kind of almost, if I had met a guy that slow and kind of slurring speech like that in the street, I think you were drunk. But
Yeah.
you think it was just he's a slow guy?
Either that, or he just like hasn't heard of these, like he's never received pushback on his positions before, so he's just absolutely dumbfounded about what to say. And both those options are really bad. So I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I think he does need a fair amount of grace. And I hope that BYU, because here's the thing. If people go after him really hard, BYU is probably going to take it easier on him, because it's like, look, dude, you've had a rough go of it, and so we're not really going to punish you, which will only make the people that were getting angry at him before even angrier that he's not getting punished. So it's kind of like this vicious positive feedback loop of the harder you pounce on it, the less BYU, because judges do this as well. Like if you've committed some sort of crime, but there were bad consequences that already happened for that, the judge is going to be like, okay, you've gotten your consequence. I'm going to give you the lower end of the punishment.
And the only other thing that kind of makes me wonder, he says, oh, well, you're a coward for putting a posted nastygram on a door without saying it in front of the person you were trying to address. Well, it's not like you got up in front of your class and said, I have a proclamation to make that you're all evil because you guys voted for Donald Trump. I mean, he didn't have the guts to face the student body he was indicting. Instead, he put a nastygram up on his door. So he received a nastygram in kind.
5 different things, and that was the last kind of like insult or response that he could come up with to throw out there at him. I don't really think he thought through too much.
Okay, you're right.
What's really surprising to me is he didn't even say, I don't have a problem with the family proclamation. Like that seems like the response a BYU professor should be giving right there if somebody's accusing them of not believing the family proclamation. He wouldn't even do that.
Well, and also
he didn't even try.
Yeah, and to say that, Kamala Harris is not supporting as an affirmative good abortions. Bro, at the DNC, when they kind of fake nominated her, they straight up, like how rock concerts have taco trucks, they had an abortion van. Like at the convention, at her, not inauguration, but whatever, you know the political term. They're trying.
Convention.
Yeah, at the convention. So, I mean, it's like, what, Republicans have taco trucks and I guess Democrats have abortion vans? Like what? Like how can you miss that reservation that members of the church have about voting Democrat, as ubiquitous as it is? It's not like some insider baseball like universal basic income. You know what I'm saying? This is like the number one issue that people condemn that party affiliation for all over campus, all over church, at least in Western North America. So I don't think that you can really plead ignorance on that, if that makes sense. I get how you could say like, hey, even we have a nuanced view of this, the mother's life, church policy is not that, you're guilty of murder if you have an abortion, so on and so forth. Like, it's one thing to say that, okay, but it's another to say like, no, ain't that way, dude. Because it is that way.
Well, that would be like saying, oh, so you support stand your ground laws, so you can shoot any stranger that comes into your house and you're not going to get in trouble with it. Oh, you're fine with that law? Then why do you have a problem with this person who wants to make all murder legal? They're almost the same thing. Like, no. The church's position and abortion for any reason whatsoever at any point during pregnancy as a national law that the government's probably going to pay for are completely different. They're on other planets. They're not even in the same galaxy of an approach to the issue of abortion.
So what's happened to Professor Cardin? Because part of me, I would feel bad for him if this were like a passion crime and this was just like a one-off where he was really pissed. It was within 24 to 36 hours of the election. He just said something stupid. It was unfortunately caught on tape. If that were what happened, I'd say, hey guys, chill out. I was the one on here saying, let's give him 24 hours. Before people celebrate, let's give him 24 hours. I even had like a little online back and forth with the Cougar Chronicle itself. Who am I arguing with at the Cougar Chronicle? Is that Tommy Stevenson. Like, you know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
know who's logged into the account most of the time.
Oh, that's funny. So anyway,
sure.
like even I was like, hey, let's give all of our liberal brothers and sisters 24 hours. Let's let them sleep on this again, and then we can all start fighting on Friday, you know, and so on and so forth. We got 8 years. We can wait just 8 minutes. So
8 years?
Oh, wait,
you
no.
doing a third term?
Sorry, we've got 4 years. We can wait 4 hours or 4 more hours. So anyway, it's like if this were just a passion crime and a one-off, I'd be like, let's give this guy grace. The poor guy, he's obviously older. He wasn't a seasoned veteran of cancel culture. He grew up in his formative years when there wasn't phones tracking every move and putting on social media every mistake. So come on, let's not go after this guy. But dude, this dude didn't just double down. He tripled down, and then he decided to get in a little verbal tussle with a college student with a camera. Bro, that's a lose-lose situation, man. What's he thinking? You're smart enough to factor trinomials. You should be able to figure that out, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what's happening? What's the pushback? What's the final story? Has the guy been lampooned or what?
Okay. He's definitely been raked over the coals. And hopefully he has some introspection. And like, for the love of BYU people, stop doing this. Like, what is it going to take the Cougar Chronicle or other people doing to finally say like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be a crazy leftist at BYU. That might backfire on me.
That's
like,
the intro. You just made the intro. BYU people, just stop doing this.
And you start to think like, is BYU kind of like, don't worry, bro. Like, if this happens to you, we got your back, man. Like, don't worry, you're going to be fine. Go out and do it. Sure, they're going to yell at you. It's not going to be fun, but like, we got you, man. We got like, what is going on behind the scenes here that there's not that many BYU professors. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to get them in a room and say, guys, cut it out. Let's be done. Because it just seems like every semester, it's just every semester something like this happens. And then everybody, conservatives pounce. The tried and true headline from the liberal media, and some people were doing that on Twitter too with this story, and then nothing happens. And we just move on and wait for the next one to happen the next semester. So,
jeez. All right. Well,
it's, the Office of Belonging should look into that, because conservatives do not feel very seen or validated when you do that.
Wow. And Utah just shifted super blue, so they should be very amiable to this kind of
Jacob and I actually discussed that, and I don't think it's as bad as people think it is.
Oh, I'm sure it's not as bad as people think it is, but
yeah,
it's not a stat in their favor. So, okay, anything we've missed before we go, my man? Anything we've missed?
Anything we've missed? I don't think so.
Okay, awesome.
I don't think so.
Well, if you guys want to subscribe to Ward Radio News and want to hear more of what cool-headed Luke has to offer, please make sure you check out WardRadio.com and you subscribe to our newsletter there. That way you will get all of the updates from the news blog. Also, if you want to buy some merch, whether it's shirts or really cool hats or the War in Heaven veteran hat, please make sure you check out our store at WardRadio.com. We got all kinds of merch. Also, hot off the presses, we've got the new hoodies. It's cold out there, all right? Especially at BYU. So we got new hoodies. First up is the cool zippered hoodie, and then we got the no zipper hoodies coming. We just launched those on Thursday, and 50% of them already sold out. I assume by the time you see this recording, and maybe by Monday, the rest will be gone. So if you want a discount, watch yesterday's live stream. We gave out 2 discount codes on the live stream. You can get 10 and 20% off respectively with those discount codes. And as always, it's been real and it's been fun, and it's been real fun. For this and more, please make sure you check us out at WardRadio.com.
Can't keep quiet when you start a riot.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. We assume if you made it this far that you liked our content, so please make sure you like this video and you share it with your friends. Now, in order to keep this content flowing freely, we need your help. If you're a person of means, please check us out on Venmo, the CashApp, or Zelle, and consider a direct contribution to the channel. Or you could always go to wardradio.com and sign up for our newsletter there and receive all of our latest Ward Radio news articles directly to your inbox. And while you're there, maybe consider purchasing some merch. We have some really cool hats, some really cool shirts, so you can strut your stuff and support the channel that way. Or if you're a kind of person that wants to just help out with some of the equipment in the studio, we have an Amazon wish list linked in the description as well. And don't forget scripturenotes.com. You have to read your scriptures daily, and scripturenotes.com is frankly the coolest way to study your scriptures, and they're a very generous sponsor of this channel. So please consider a free trial with scripturenotes.com. The link to Scripture Notes will also be in the description of this video. Either way, whether you're pressing this little button right here to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends, or whether you are actually hitting this button right here just to watch another video, we look forward to seeing you in the next program.